1. The Locked Attic. Growing up, my Aunt Lillian was the family ghost. Not literally, she was alive, but no one talked about her. She was my mom's older sister. But while Mom was a cheerful kindergarten teacher in our sunny Florida suburb, Aunt Lillian lived alone in a crumbling Victorian house 3 states away. Mom called her once a month, always in hushed tones, always when my brother and I were out of earshot. The few times I asked about her, Mom would stiffen and say, "Lillian prefers her privacy." Then, when I was 12, Grandpa died. At the funeral, Aunt Lillian showed up, pale, gaunt, dressed in a black dress that looked decades old. She didn't speak to anyone, not even Mom. But as she left, she pressed a rusted key into my hand and whispered, "When you're older, come see me." I forgot about the key until my freshman year of college, when Mom got a call. Aunt Lillian had passed away, heart attack. The house was mine if I wanted it. I drove up that summer. The place was straight out of a Gothic novel, sagging porch, overgrown ivy, and a single, locked attic window that stared down like a dead eye. The key she'd given me fit the front door. Inside, the air smelled like mothballs and something sour. Dust sheets covered the furniture, except for one chair facing the attic stairs, like someone had been sitting there, watching. The attic lock was newer than the rest of the house, thick, industrial. The key didn't fit. But curiosity got the better of me. I broke the latch with a fire poker. The smell hit me first, rot and ammonia. Then I saw them, dolls, dozens of them, propped against the walls, their glassy eyes tracking me in the dim light. Not the kind you buy at a store. These were handmade, stuffed with something lumpy, their faces stitched into permanent screams. At the back of the room was a small desk. Inside the drawer, I found newspaper clippings. Local girl, 9, vanishes on walk home. Police question neighbor in disappearance. No leads in missing child case. The dates were from 1978, a year before Mom cut contact with her sister. Beneath the clippings was a photo of 2 little girls, Mom and Aunt Lillian, grinning in front of this same house. And tucked in the corner of the frame, a tiny braid of blonde hair. I called Mom that night, my voice shaking. What happened in 1978? She was silent for so long I thought she'd hung up. Then, barely a whisper, "Lillian always lied." She said she was babysitting the Myers girl. But when the police came, Story 2, the basement photos. My dad was a funeral director. Growing up, I thought it was cool. Other kids had dads who sold insurance or fixed cars, but mine prepared the dead. He'd come home smelling like formaldehyde and peppermints, his hands always scrubbed raw. The rule was simple: never go into the basement. That's where he kept his work supplies. When I was 16, Dad got sick. Cancer, fast and brutal. On his last night, he gripped my wrist so tight it bruised and said, "Burn everything in the basement, don't look." We buried him on a Tuesday. By Wednesday, Mom was drinking herself to sleep. The basement key hung on a nail by the door, taunting me. I waited until midnight. The stairs groaned like they hadn't been used in years. The air was thick with the smell of chemicals and something sweet, like overripe fruit. Dad's workbench was neat, embalming fluids, brushes, a row of pristine scalpels. But the back wall, that's where the pictures were. Polaroids, hundreds of them, pinned to a corkboard. All of little kids, asleep. No, not asleep, prepared. Their faces were powdered, lips stitched into faint smiles. Some wore dresses or tiny suits, like they were ready for a funeral. My stomach lurched when I recognized a few. local missing children from news reports. Then I saw the dates, scrawled on the back of each photo, received, followed by a month and year. The earliest was 1989, the year before I was born. At the bottom of the board was a single, yellowed newspaper clipping. Infant stolen from cradle, police baffled. The date matched my birthday. My hands shook so badly I dropped the article. That's when I saw it. A small silver urn on the shelf, labeled in Dad's handwriting, for the ones who couldn't be saved. I ran upstairs and vomited. Mom found me curled on the bathroom floor. When I told her, she didn't scream or cry, just stared at the wall and said, "I always wondered why he insisted on adopting you." Story 3. The Last Guest. My grandmother's lake house had a rule: never open the yellow bedroom door. As kids, my cousins and I thought it was haunted. We'd dare each other to touch the brass knob, giggling when someone chickened out. Grandma would scold us, her voice sharper than we'd ever heard. "That room isn't for you." When she died last winter, the house passed to my aunt, who immediately listed it for sale. "Place gives me the creeps," she said. But first she asked me to help clear it out. The yellow bedroom door was still locked. Aunt Marcy shrugged. "Probably just old linens." She called a locksmith. Inside, the room was frozen in time. Lace curtains, a four-poster bed with a quilt smoothed perfectly flat. Dust swirled in the late afternoon light. It smelled like lavender and something metallic. The closet door was slightly ajar. That's where I found her. A porcelain doll nearly my height, propped against the wall. Her dress was yellowed lace, her glass eyes too lifelike. Something dark streaked her porcelain neck. Rust or old blood. I stumbled back, knocking over a hat box. Polaroids spilled out. A little girl in a white nightgown, asleep in that same bed. Another of her sitting on the porch swing, her smile too wide. Then a photo of Grandma brushing the girl's hair, her expression tender. The last photo made my breath stop. The girl in the tub, not asleep, water up to her chin, her blonde hair fanned out like a halo. Her eyes were open. Written on the back in Grandma's handwriting: Evelyn, 1972, so peaceful at last. I rifled through the box and found a newspaper clipping beneath the photos. Search continues for missing girl, 8. The date, June 1972. Aunt Marcy found me sobbing on the floor. She took one look at the doll and went pale. Oh God, Mom swore she got rid of it. That's when she told me about Evelyn Harris, the little girl who vanished during Grandma's famous lakeside summers. The one whose parents had been Grandma's closest friends. She was sick, Aunt Marcy whispered. After Dad left, something in her broke. She'd always wanted a daughter. I looked at the doll again. Up close, I could see the cracks in the porcelain, fine lines around the wrists and neck, like something had been repaired. Aunt Marcy burned the doll that night, but sometimes, when the house is quiet, I swear I still hear the music box playing behind the yellow door.